Hello all, and welcome to round number 7 of the Nemesis Online Racing League Championship here on my YouTube channel. And we are in Canada, and I'm certainly looking forward to this race, where I think that a little thing called track limits might be a little bit of an issue in this race. I hope you're all doing well on this Sunday night in Europe. Of course, Monday morning in Australia, and I don't know what time in the US during the day in the US of A, and of course in Canada, where we're taking place today. Now I'm live just because I'm just basically going to start going live at 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Saving Time, whatever the fuck it's called. Or whatever it's called, I should say. Whoopsie. So yeah. Thoughts on JLS getting back together? What? What are you talking about, Ed? I have no idea what you're talking about. JLS? I haven't a Scooby-Doo. So we're just waiting to get underway. And what's going to be an extremely important one-shot qualifying session. That is for sure. Super important, and so easy to cut a corner here at this circuit that I wouldn't be surprised if even half the grid gets disqualified. So we can see they're just waiting in the pits now, ready to go out for their one-shot qualifying lap. And of course, I sadly missed the last Grand Prix in Monaco, where Toby won, and we had, of course, our championship leader at the time, Ed GTS, crash out, I believe. So a lot happened in Monaco, and I'm glad to be back. I'm feeling a lot better than what I was last week. Still a little bit sick, but I'm sure you can hear my throat, but a lot better. But now, we're getting underway here with qualifying as the drivers now head down towards turn 1. A very difficult braking zone. You need to make sure you don't go too deep. Exactly like Hereford there, you need to carry as much speed through the corner as then you launch yourself out for this exit into the first chicane. So easy to cut the inside curb there, and it's so easy to go in the outside wall, which Hereford did not do here. Now, blind right-hander up into what is a very difficult left-hander, which is so easy to just drag you out wide, and then also so easy to go in the exit wall, as we've seen many drivers do, actually, over the last couple of years since these cars have gotten quite a bit bigger. Now, another chicane, which is also difficult. Very, very easy to go to take too much speed to the corner and hit the wall on the exit there. Is now the head down towards the hairpin. So difficult, that braking zone. So easy to lock a front wheel, and so easy to go into the wall. But now the drivers head down the back straight. Let's see who's going to take pole position. It's an extremely difficult braking zone. The Wall of Champions on the right hand side, where famously Schumacher, Hill, all went in the wall. Villeneuve, and it looks is going to take pole position, and indeed he is. He's going to take it. How much did he take it there by? I'm not too sure. But he is on pole. Our championship leader is on pole with Chiller Killer in second. It looks like a very close grid indeed. And there we have it, Bolt on pole by 0.3 of a second over the Alpha of Chiller Killer. Third is Testameister. Fourth is Chazza. Fifth is Ed. Sixth is Addy. Jay Hobson UK in seventh. Ayrton Spenner in 8th, Dougie Afferman in 9th, Hereford 10th, Skull in 11th, and then the disqualifiers are Maverick, who start 12th, Shektifer in 13th. Or these might have been people who just crashed out. The actual disqualifiers are Val, Ragno, Murcielago, and King No Skill, who start 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, respectively. I must say, I'm quite enjoying standing up doing this. Usually I'd be sat down, and it'd be oh so uncomfortable, but I'm standing up in it. It's nice. There you go. I'm moving my chair out the way. I'm standing up this race. As I've got the Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona game up on the side just to keep an eye on. I've been watching that before. I was actually streaming it on Twitch just before this. And I'm glad to be commentating here. Of course. Hello Jack Marsh, how you doing my friend? Glad to see you here once more. As now the drivers are about to start the formation lap. As we now just have to sit here for nearly 2 minutes and fill time. But yes, Bolt, he is a man on the mission at the moment. He was with Bolt and I, and he was saying that he wasn't too confident about his chances in this series. That was after Bahrain, I think it was, and oh boy, has he improved since then. I think he's won 3 or 4 races on a bounce, and he's in the lead of the championship. Just how quickly things can change in a matter of weeks on this game. It might just be you're better on a certain track, and it boosts your confidence. And well, it certainly boosted Bolt's confidence because now he is dominating this series, much like he was the F2 Championship. But of course, it's not over. He has very stiff competition in the form of Ed GTS, the Mercedes, and he will be looking to bounce back after his disappointing race in Monaco. And Chillico in second, who's had some very good qualifying performances recently, but has not been able to transform them and to what's the word I'm looking for here? To then convert those good qualifyings into a good race. That's the word I was looking for. And Jake Marsh is here to see his friend Bolt win, of course. And Testameister, he's had a disappointing season so far as Testameister. He's a good driver and was up the front a couple of times last season, and to see him up in 3rd place is good. And of course, we all know about Chazza, last year's championship winner, and of course he's missed a number of races. He won the first race out in Melbourne, but has failed to show up except for the last race in Monaco due to unfortunate circumstances and issues with the F1 scheduling. So Chaz is starting in 4th, and he has nothing to lose, as many of the other drivers do as well. And good to see Ayrton Spencer, or Callum J. Spencer, as most of you would know him, back on the grid today. And here we go. We are ready for the start of the race. We have 3 lights, we have 4 lights, we have 5 lights. And lights out, and away we go, and it looked like it was a pretty slow start there, and what a fantastic start. That's beat by the Mercedes event. Oh, he's down, he's trying to go up the inside of Bolt, and he's gone spinning around, and he's caused some more contact. But now with that, Chillikilla is in the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, followed by Bolt, followed by Chazza, then Testameister, then Addy, then Jay Hobson UK has made a very good start up into 6th place, then Dougie Afferman, then Ayrton Spencer, and then Ragno, who's flown through the field. He was down in 15th, and now he's all the way up in 9th. Oh, as we've got a Red Bull of Jay Hobson UK in the wall there as well. What on earth has gone on there? It's all kicking off here at the moment, as now Chazza, he is behind Bolt in 3rd place, and he's looking to take advantage of that opening lap chaos that has transpired as Chillico a little bit wide there, and this is going to allow Bolt perhaps a good run on him. But Ragno is up in 7th place already. Ragno is absolutely flying. Whatever is Whatever he's had after qualifying, he's absolutely flying. This Dougie Efferman struggles a little bit there with the corner, but now Bolt going up the inside of Chillicothe into turn 1. Chillicothe defends around the outside and manages to hold on, but Bolt with a switchback he's looking for is not going to be able to work for him at the moment. But Bolt's certainly looking very quick here in the early stages of this Grand Prix, and I think he would have been in the lead of the race if it weren't for the Mercedes of Ed going up the inside and causing that contact, who had an absolute storming start, but unfortunately he made contact with Bolt and went spinning around. Now on lap 2 here, you can see that Bolt just is a little bit more confident through these corners than the Alfa Romeo in front of him, and through this chicane he'll look to close up to the back of the Alfa, get a good exit and try to get a good run down the straight, down towards the final chicane. And here we go, he's in the slipstream, he's in overtake mode, and Bolt is going to absolutely fly past the Alfa Romeo. He's got to go around the outside, they've got to touch actually as they go down into the corner. Chillicothe sticks the car in the inside, Bolt goes a little bit wide, and now Chillicothe is coming back here at Bolt. They're side by side down into turn 1. Who is going to come out on top? It's going to be Bolt around the outside, but Chillicothe is still there, trying to hang it around the outside. Who's going to get the better? They're still side by side as they come down towards the second chicane, and it's going to be Bolt with the inside line to come back and take the lead of the Grand Prix. But Chillicothe, I don't think it's done yet. Is he going to stick it up the inside again? Yes, he is. He goes through. There's a little bit of contact, and he just about saves the car. And now Chazza is through into second place after that slight contact with the Alfa Romeo and the Renault. Oh boy, it is absolutely kicking off as Chillicothe was a little bit late there on the brakes and nearly went into the back of Chazza. And after all of that, everyone is very close to the front. Oh, as Testameister has been absolutely dive bombed from a mile back by Addy. What a move that is by the Haas. I'm Michelin, and I love to see a lick in centre like that. But now, we have Chazza under attack from Chillicothe potentially. But Chazza has the DRS on Bolt, and I don't think any overtake will happen there. And boy, oh boy. Oh, but Chazza's hit the wall, and he's now lost that position to Chillicothe. Oh, Chillicothe's come across on him, and there's contact, and Chillicothe is going backwards down the pit straight. Oh dear, he just seemingly came across when he was never going to be able to do so, and now that has completely screwed his race. That is for sure. Oh boy, what a start we've had here. Is now we've got Val also in the wars down here, as Ed is looking to come back from 11th place after what was a fantastic start, but contact at turn 1. Val's trying to go around the outside of Murcielago, and he does indeed. A fantastic move there by Val. As we now look a little bit more through the field, as it looks like Dougie Efferman is absolutely lagging up a storm there. I'm so sorry. But after that, Chazza is all the way down into 6th place, and Addy is in 2nd, and Testameister in 3rd, and Ragno, where did Ragno start? Ragno started in 15th place, and he's now up into P4. But saying that, he now has a 3-second time penalties for multiple warnings for corner cutting. That is certainly not what you want around here at such an early stage of this race. But Chazza is into the pits, and I assume that Chazza is needing a new front wing. Yes, he is indeed. And he goes onto the soft compound of tyre. What an exciting Grand Prix this has been so far. And we've still got 31 laps to go. And this field is certainly still together. There's Val in front of Murcielago there, hits the wall, but just about gets away with it. But I think now we're going to look at Ed to see how he is looking after his mistake at turn 1. I think we're going to see Ed come charging through the field. He's going to be wanting to prove a point after that mistake. And he gets a bit of a better exit then than Skull, if I'm perfectly honest with you, as it looks like Dougie lagged ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if Ed goes for a little dive here, but he decides not to. Takes a very tight apex, and looks like he's got a much better exit than Skull here, and this should be a pretty comfortable move here for the Mercedes down the straight. But he's not not using any ERS. Now he does. He goes up into overtake, trying to go down the inside of Skull into the final chicane. Does he about get it done? No, he doesn't. Skull still stays in there. And I think Ed was a little bit surprised by that, as now King No Skill is trying to take it to Ed. His arm starting to have a coffin fit, but now King No Skill was completely surprised by Val there, as now Val has got a Red Bull of Murcielago cutting across the first corner there. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm assuming that he just outbroke himself. But Ed wasn't able to get past Skull. Skull put up a good defensive effort there, and he is staying in P8 for the time being. Some water before my throat absolutely dies. It's incredible. I've just been streaming for like nearly 4 hours. My throat was not sore at all once, but once you commentate, it is much, much different. And here we go. It's going to be Ed versus Skull around number 2 here. Down the back straight. Both of them still have DRS. But I don't think Ed is going to be anywhere near close enough at the moment to challenge. Oh, but Skull completely outbreaks himself. Goes into the back of Doug Afroman. And that mistake there has cost him a couple of positions. As now Val is looking to make a move on the Mercedes. Down the inside into turn 1. He's going to outbreak himself there and decides to cut across. And I'm sure that he will then let back through the Mercedes, and indeed. And now he's going to put himself under pressure from Skull. Or is he not? He is not indeed. He's alright. As what's going on there? Ducky Afroman's gone spinning around. I'm not sure if there was some lag or what happened there, but he's gone spinning around, and that is not what you want for Dougie Afroman. As Val, up the inside of Ed, is up into P7 now, and it's all kicking up in the midfield here as Ed is trying to make his way through the field. Val going very slow on the apex there, that's for sure. As now we have Bolt after 7 laps coming into the pit, so obviously those soft compound tyres not doing himself too well. As also Testameister now comes into the pits. Oh, and what on earth has Ed done there? I don't know if Ed was going to come into the pits, and now he certainly is, as he hits the back of Val into the final chicane. And oh dear, as now Chazza has got a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and who was that trying to go up the inside of Skull there? It was King No Skill, and he's crashed. As now Chazza makes his way up past Schectifer, and now he's going to be looking to get past King No Skill. And indeed he does. He gets past King No Skill rather comfortably. Oh, does he? He does the Sebastian Vettel, does Chazza. He just goes straight across the grass. As you like. Jeez, my throat is absolutely killing me, I'll tell you what. Now, Bolt has made his way back up past Val after his pit stop, where he's gone onto the medium compounded tyres. And now Val will just sit behind Bolt, look to use the DRS to stay close to him. As we'll just go a little bit further back, as Murcielago is in the wall. I don't know what on earth has happened there. But we'll go a little bit further back, as I was going to say. King No Skill relatively close to Schectifer, as Ragno and Skull have come into the pits for their first pit stop of the race. And Murcielago has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding the pit lane. I'm sorry guys, my throat is absolutely fucked, if I'm perfectly honest with you. It is really bad. I don't know what other word to use than that. I'm sorry for swearing once again. But I must say Hereford here is relatively close to Ayrton Spinner. Indeed he is. Is he going to look to go out the inside into the hairpin? No. He decides better of it. As I am struggling to speak here. I really am. But now he has the DRS from Ayrton Spinner down the back straight, and he's going to make a very easy move there to go up into P2 of the race here for Hereford. He'll be very pleased with that. Doesn't decide to come back across and goes very, very slowly, as I think he was tagged from the back there by Ayrton Spencer as he went very, very slow through the chicane. And there you go. As Fury says, this is high octane racing indeed. This and all. Nice to see you in the chat, Fury. I know you're one of the siege players for Team Black Diamond, so nice to have you here. As we have more pits now with Schecter and King No Skill. Who was saving a penalty. He's got the on. Nice to see. Oh, as it's all kicking off here, is we've got the two Mercedes boys and the Red Bull here. Oh, you are as well, Jake Marsh. Okay, I did not know. Well, nice to have all the Siege boys as well. All the Siege boys are here. I love it. Was Maverick, who has he pitted yet? I'm not too sure if he has pitted. He has pitted. Everyone is pitted, except for Val, Ayrton Spencer, Hereford, and Addy. So there you go. I'm being told to ignore Jake. There's Murcielago has got himself past. What is going on there? That is called... This is the Laggy battle. The battle of the Laggy cars. As Murcielago has actually left the session now. And Maverick has now lost a spot to Chillikill. And I think he's really struggling on these compounded tyres as Val. Has he lost a position there to test ice? I would believe so. Since he hasn't pitted whatsoever. Or whatsoever, I should say. But Bolt is now really starting to make inroads on his teammate here, Ayrton Spencer. It's a 2-second gap. And he's certainly closing up, you can see, just through that corner alone. Again, nearly 3/10 on his teammate here. And the championship leader is currently 5 seconds, or nearly 6 seconds ahead of the one who was closest to him, who has actually made a pit stop. And after all of this, Ragno is in pretty much effective P3. Which is absolutely mental, but it must be said a pit stop doesn't take too much. About 16 seconds. As Ragno is going to get himself past his countryman up into P6. Is Ragno in the Ferrari, has had an extremely good race up to this point. But now, it looks like we're about to see round number 3 here. Between Ed, GTS and Skull TBD. As we have Ed in the slipstream of the Toro Rosso. He's going to go try do down the inside, replicate it, but he's a bit further ahead this time. And gets the move done into the final chicane. Oh dear, my throat is absolutely gone. But he maintains that move past Skull and up into P9. As Dougie Afferman has also now got past Maverick, so I don't think the decision to go on the hard compound tyre was the best one. Unless he is struggling with some damage or just struggling on those tyres in general. As well, I've completely missed that. Bolt has got past his teammate already. And now is all over the back of Hereford here, down the back straight. Is he going to go up the inside of the final chicane? Yes, I'm pretty sure that Hereford just pretty much let him through there, which was the right thing to do in the end. But now Bolt is in second place, 10.5 seconds behind the race leader of the Haas driver at the moment, who's on the medium compound tyre. So I'm assuming Addy is going to be looking to go for a 1-stop. Yep. Whereas Bolt might be on a 2-stop here, where he might go on the medium compound tyres again later in the race. As now we have Ragno pretty close to the back of Testameister here as they come to the end of the first sector, and Ragno with what looked to be a pretty good run through that middle sector chicane. Now Schecter has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As now they come down towards the chicane. Now Maverick is all the way down in P17. He's now having an absolute stinker of a race, is my mate, Dan. As Ragnar actually lost the rear end. Quite a treat coming out of that chicane. I can barely speak anymore, and I might have to stop actually commentating at this rate, that my throat is getting that bad. As Ayrton Spinner now comes into the pits for his first pit stop of the race. And whereabouts is he going to come out after a pretty good first stint on his return to the league? He's going to come out, and what's going to be P8? He's going to come out ahead of the Mercedes of Ed GTS. Right, and now he's looking to catch up to the back of Val after he had contact, of course, with Val's teammate Chiller Killer down the pitch straight early on in the race, probably around lap 5 or so. And he is on the soft compounded tyres, and he's really struggling on those tyres. As you can see, he's absolutely all over the racetrack and cutting corners. And that's not like Chazza, so you can tell that he's really struggling on his tyres at the moment. As he'll be very keen to get past Val, and I'm sure that sooner or later he'll come off these tyres and probably go onto the hard tyre, or maybe even the medium to the end of the race. And I'm sure that he'll be quite fuming after that contact. He has quite a good run through the final chicane on Val, but I don't think he's close enough to get a move. Or is he close enough? He has DRS. He's using literally no ERS as Val goes defensive to turn on. Of course he does, because that is just what Val does. Val is fucking the bus all over the place as Chaz is saving some ERS here to launch an attack, probably at the end of this lap, or maybe perhaps even sometime on this lap. So let's see what develops. Battle for 6th place. But now we'll just check in with Bolt to see how he is going. The gap is now about 8 seconds to Addy, as Addy is doing a very good job out in the lead of this race at the moment, and I'm sure that he'll come to the pits in a matter of moments here. Because Ragno is also still just pretty close here to Testameister in 4th place. As now we're going to go on board here with Val and Chazza. As Chazza is all over the back of Val, has a much better exit on those softer compounded tyres, and Val pretty much just lets him straight even begins. As now Chazza opens up the DRS and absolutely flies past Val up into 6th place, and he comes straight into the pit lane, and so does Val. So there you go. That was very unfortunate for Val. They got past as soon as they come to the pit lane. And what tyre is Chaz going to go on? He's going to go on to... Is he really gone on the soft compounded tyre again? Chaz is all about having fun and not about having poor grip at the moment, and he is just having a look fun. So Ayrton Spinner, after those two have now pitted, comes up into 5th place, and Hefford is just going to come out behind him in 6th place here, as Chaz has just about come out ahead of Ed in the Mercedes, who was on the compound tyre, the Mercedes driver that is. So Mavericks, I think he must have damage or something, or he's really struggling. He's 6 seconds off second last, 16th place of the Racing Point of King No Skill. So yeah, as Chiller Killer, it looks like he's got past Scout into the 2nd chicane. Oh, and Ragno and Testameister here are going side by side down the main straight. And Ragno, just before the wall of champions on the right hand side, has gotten past, and he has moved up into what is 2nd place from 15th on the grid, or whatever it has been. Fantastic job by Ragno, and to get past his compatriot in Testameister, I'm sure he'll be extremely pleased with that. But after Addy's first pit stop and first and final pit stop, you'd have to assume he is in 4th place, and he'll be looking to close down these two in front of him. And he's only 3 seconds behind them, and he's on much fresher tyres than these two. And he should be in a good position here to get 2nd place, as Ayrton Spinner's now got a 3-second time penalty, as long as Schechtefer, and along with King No Skill, have all got 3-second time penalties. As right, let's just read Jake Marsh's comment in the chat. If Bolt doesn't win this, he will have to retire and become a Mario Kart pro. I'm sure that is probably one of the last things that Bolt would want to do, but who knows? I wouldn't put past him. It'd be incredible if we had a Team Black Diamond Mario Kart team as now Chilico up the inside of J Hobson UK into the third chicane. Very nice move there by the Alpha. But J Hobson UK isn't giving up just quite yet, and Chilico comes back across of J Hobson UK, which he was more than entitled to do, as J Hobson hit the back of him. And now, oh, we've missed action at the front here as Testameister has gotten back past Ragno. Apologies for missing that, but J Hobson UK hit the back of Chilico there, and he did the right thing by just giving Chilico the position back as Ragno struggled with some absolutely chronic understeer there in the dirty air of Testameister. As it looks like the Ferrari and the McLarens are going to have quite a battle for the remainder of this race, and if they keep squabbling like they have been, I assume that it's going to be a matter of time before we see Addy in the Haas all over the back of these two drivers, as we have now going to go back to Chazza in P7 on the soft compound tyres. Is on the hard compound tyre, so I think that this should be quite a comfortable move here for Chazza in the moment, but Ragno has gotten back past. Oh! And Testameister and Ragno are both out the Grand Prix while Testameister is, and somehow Ragno is not, as Testameister absolutely flew into the rear end of Ragno at the chicane. Oh dearie me! Oh dearie me! Testameister out of the Grand Prix, and Hereford is being overtaken by Chazza. That has happened, but Testameister into the back of Ragno, and oh boy, you can see that coming from a mile away. Ragno went slow through the chicane, but Testameister, that was a poor mistake by him. A poor mistake, and he'll be absolutely gutted with that. He was in P3, the best his pace has looked and in quite some time. And now he is out of the Grand Prix, and I'm sure rather frustrated with himself, and more frustrated I think will be Ragno, who's been up in second place, started 15 and now has front wing damage, and he'll be absolutely fuming with that because that certainly was not his fault. As now Skull comes into the pits. I'm not entirely sure why. No, he's going to have some fun here. He's going to go onto the soft compound tyre as with all that extra grip, he turns into the corner a little bit too early. Has got picked up a 3-second time penalty as now pits. Assuming he's going to go into another set of medium compound tyres, and indeed he does. As also a front wing change, and he'll probably come out in P8 or so. He'll probably P7. He'll be close here with Val, his compatriot, of course. Yep, he'll come out 8th for Ragno. Yeah, he'll come out ahead of Chilico here as Chazza has picked up another 3-second time penalty as he's now closing up to the back of the Renault of Ayrton Spencer. As now my throat is recovered a little bit after somehow after screaming some more, so that is good indeed. There's Chaz up now, and just before the hairpin, will be looking to close up under braking using the extra grip of those soft compound tyres as Ayrton Spencer runs a little bit wide. And now Chaz in the slipstream of the Renault coming down the back DRS straight. He's going to go around the outside because he knows there's no dirty side of the track when I'm just going to absolutely fly past Ayrton Spencer before the corner even comes. And now Chaz is rather comfortably up into 3rd place. But of course you'd have to expect him to pit again, so he's going to have to make good use of these soft compounded tyres whilst he has the grip available, which he's done so because he's got past Ed and now Ayrton Spencer. So now Chaz will be looking to make some inroads, perhaps on Addy, who of course probably won't pit again, but one person that will probably pit again is Bolt. Is Chilico as he's coming to the pit lane. It's got a 5-second time penalty. It's now a bunch of drivers get time penalties for corner cutting and doing so. There's Taki Afroman didn't quite slow down enough there, and has got a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. That is certainly a feels bad man moment right there. Is Bolt, just as we're talking about him, is now coming to the pits for his final pit stop of the race if everything goes to plan. It looks like a pretty smooth pit stop for Renault boys. And now, of course, he will come out behind Addy. As we also have Maverick in the pits behind, who has been lapped now. Let's see just how far Bolt comes out behind Addy. As you can see, Addy here is just in the first chicane here. As now Ed also pits, and it looks like the gap is about 5.5 seconds. So Bolt has now 5.5 seconds to catch with the remaining laps to go. And I'm sure he'll do that. He looks very happy to be on some fresh set of tyres. And look at that, he's gained half a second. After one sector, he's absolutely flying on those tyres. So I think it will be a matter of time before we see the Renault on the back of the Haas. As Chazza is starting to pull away Ben up, trying to use the extra grip of these tyres. And I wonder if he has actually any of the soft compound tyres left, and considering that Chazza is in hot lap mode, I'd assume that he is going to come into the pits right now, as Ed is going to try and overtake Murcielago up the inside into the chicane, and indeed he does so. Quite a good move that by Ed up the inside into the chicane. And let's see, is Chazza coming into the pits? No, he doesn't. He does not come to the pits. He was just using his hot lap there for whatever reason, as he now nearly has no ERS left, so a bit puzzling. But Bolt, look at that, look how much he's closed the gap. The gap is now just about 3 seconds when it was 5.5. Bolt has taken 2.5 seconds out of Addy in a lap. The whole native is flying here at Canada. And it will be a matter of time before he catches up to Addy. You can see how aggressive he's going into the corners. He's absolutely wringing the neck out of this car, as we have quite a number of pits going on now. We have Murcielago and Schechter coming into the pits now for their third and first and second stops, I should be saying, respectively, as we have Skull getting past Chillikiller up into turn 1. But Chillikiller is going to come back with some sort of switchback here as they go side by side. Oh, and Chillikiller just absolutely squeezes him into the wall. From my perspective, that's certainly what it looked like. And now Skull is down the escape road, and I'm assuming that he's probably going to just retire in frustration, although he does. He's very committed, but let's see what happens, because to me that just looked like Chillikiller came across him, and that would certainly not be the first time in this race, as he did that to Chaz earlier on, at least from what it looked like. We'll have to see what it looks from his perspective, but you know, let's see. There's now Bolt. I think he might have DRS here. Oh, that was a little bit of a cut from, at least from the off-board cam. Is he going to have DRS? No, he's not. He's not going to quite have DRS just yet. But let's see just how much time he now gains on Addy. Addy does have quite a bit of ERS to fight with. And who knows, if he keeps Bolt behind just for a couple of laps, Bolt's engine could start to overheat, and then Bolt's tyres could start to wear out a little bit more, and Addy could stay ahead in this Grand Prix. It certainly isn't going to be super easy for Bolt here. But let's see, as now Chazza comes into the pit for what should be his final pit stop of the race, and he's going to go on the medium compounded tyres. And let's see where he comes out, as Ayrton Spencer's up into third place, but Bolt now, as Addy runs a little bit wide there through the chicane, and Bolt trying to go up the inside, but Addy just didn't leave the car's width there for Bolt to get his nose in up the inside. And Addy going defensive into the chicane, running wide once again. Addy is really feeling the heat here. But I think Bolt just backed out of the move there to make sure he gets DRS, to make it oh so simple and really a formality once they come out of the exit of this corner and down onto the DRS straight. And here we go. We're about to see the change of the lead as Bolt is trying to get past the Haas car. Addy defends the inside line. Bolt trying to go around the outside. Is he going to be able to get the move done? Addy tries to stay there. They go side by side through the final chicane. Addy just about holds on. But now it looks like Bolt has a better run coming out of that. Then Addy's going to do everything he can to stay ahead. But he can't. Bolt up into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Ayrton Spinner has left the session. Oh no, what's going on there? Disaster. Disaster for the Welshman. Hopefully he can reconnect and join back and control his car. Otherwise, that is massive disappointment there. But Chazza, on fresher tyres, is 3.5 seconds behind his teammate Ragnar, who is closing up to the back of Hereford. And Chazza could be looking at still P4 after making 3 pit stops in this race. So Chazza has certainly done a good job in coming back with a very good, which would be a very good result after making 3 pit stops. But now we have Ed, who just touched the wall there with his front wing, trying to get past Val. Val is going defensive, of course, because Val goes defensive. And now taking that sort of line is going to completely screw him up. And now Ed will get past very comfortably, as they're actually going to go side by side down into the chicane. Or are they? No, Ed pulls ahead into the chicane. And on a fresher compound and a softer compounded tyre than Val, he should just drive away on the exit of the corner. And Val, will he have DRS? No, because Ed was behind when they crossed the DRS line, and that is a costly mistake there by Val going defensive into the chicane. As Ed is up into P7, and Ayrton Spinner is coming into the pits for soft compounded tyres. I'm not sure if he's come back and regained control of his car. It remains to be seen, but who knows, as I need to disconnect my mic because I don't have anything to put my mic on this headset, on this cord that I'm using. So just give me a moment, guys. Because Chazza goes up the inside of Hereford there into turn 1, and as we've seen, Callum J. Spencer, Ayrton Spinner, Callum J. Spencer has come back, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely fuming to see that the AI have pitted him after he was in 3rd place in this race onto the soft compounded tyre. And now it's going to be some job to catch up to the back of Ragnar by race end. But Ragnar and Chazza are on older tyres than him, that's for sure. I think that Ayrton Spinner could perhaps still get P4, P5 in this race. But I'm sure that he'll be absolutely raging his internet, that's for sure. It's Chazza and Ragnar. That is the battle that we're going to see between the two Ferraris coming to the end of this race, as Bolt, in the meantime, has extended his gap to 4 seconds over Addy, who has driven a very good race on the one stop. I think if he started a little bit higher up the field, I think he could have made this one-stop strategy work over Bolt. But Bolt has had such the pace that he has been able to do a 2-stop, as Skull has retired from the Grand Prix. Sad to see, after he had some contact early on the race. I just needed to make sure my mic is working since I start again. Yep, it is very good. Because sometimes when I plug it back in, it doesn't pick up the mic. So good to see that sorted out as Maverick runs wide there. I think he might just be letting his teammate through there, actually. Good, although he did make a bit of a mess of it. Good to see that the blue flags are being listened to, as Schechter also runs wide there, trying to let the Ferraris through. And good to see the drivers following blue flags, because over the past couple of races, we had quite a big issues with drivers not following blue flags. So, yeah, there's Skull is just joined the chat and he's saying FC, and yeah, I feel for you, mate. On your screen, did Chili Killer just completely move over on you? Because that's certainly what it looked like on our end here. Of course, we'll have to see his footage, but he did that to Chaz earlier as well, by the looks of things. So I think the Chili Killer might have a little bit to answer for with the stewards. Yeah, he put me in the wall. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm sure that once you submit your footage and once he submits his footage, we'll be able to have a better understanding of exactly what happened. But it did look like he did just move over. As Chaz up now through the middle sector is just about within a second of his teammate, and that means DRS, and he gains quite a bit under braking, does Chaz into the hairpin, but it looks like Ragnar gets a very strong exit. And I tell you what, Ragnar does really get strong exits. I know after battling with him many a time last season that he does have very good exits, as now Chaz faking a move up the inside. But of course, Chaz is such an experienced driver, is not going to make that sort of mistake, and it looks like he's having a very good run here on Ragnar down towards turn 1. Chaz going to go up the inside of his teammate into the first corner, and he's going to get the move done, is he? Yes, he is. Chaz up into third place in the Canadian Grand Prix, as now we have Ed, who's just got past Hairford, and Ayrton Spenner's just got back up past Val. Oh, but what's happened here? Chaz is in the wall. Chaz is off. What on earth has happened there? And now Chaz is down into P6. And Ragnar's back up into P3 and Ed's in P4. But Hairford's run a mile wide there. And that means that Chaz is going to get back up into 5th place, isn't he? It looks like he is just about with the inside line. Yes, he is. Chaz is back up into 5th place. Be interesting to see what on earth happened there at the entry of the chicane. As now Ed's got to dive it up the inside, and there's contact. Oh, as it's just started to rain. With a couple of laps to go, it has just started to rain. Here in Canada, it's all kicking off once again. As now Hairford, using no ERS, is gaining on Chaz down the straight. Mate, use your ERS, you would have got the move done. Oh dear, as now the drivers are going to be absolutely struggling as Hairford loses the rear end a little bit, going over the curb. And now I'm sure the leader of Bolt will be absolutely, well, bricks. I think that's the best way to explain it. He'll be very, very nervous with only a number of laps to go. He is going to be the first one facing these conditions. And I'm sure he'll be very worried, but you can see Hairford here on worn tyres and on the harder compound tyres. He's really, really struggling with less grip being on the track here. But Ed, oh my goodness, he's braking later than Ragnar once again. Is he going to get a penalty for that? No, he's not. But now that will allow Chaz to get a good run on Ed. And is he going to dive it up the inside of the chicane? He says, why not? He's going to send it up the inside, and he gets the move done on Ed in the chicane. But Ed, let's see what his exit is like, and it looks like he's had a pretty good exit, as now they're side by side, both with DRS coming down the back. Chaz looks like he has greater straight line speed than the Mercedes at the moment, and he moves up into P4, and let's see, it could be the Ferraris back at it once again. We don't know what happened between them, but let's see. Let's see what happens here in these mixed conditions. I'm sure that those with fresher tyres, which certainly Chaz has fresher tyres than Ragnar, it's going to be very interesting here. Now, with 3 laps remaining in the Canadian Grand Prix here. Ragnar running a little bit wide through the chicane there, and Chaz is going to get a much better exit than him. And now, with the DRS, Chaz trying to go down around the outside of Ragnar, but Ragnar covers it off. He defends the inside line though. That's going to affect his run out of this chicane. Chaz gets a little bit of a better run But it doesn't, I don't think it's going to mean too much going down into the chicane. As we've got 3 drivers here separated by less than a second here on now what is still the 3rd last lap for these drivers, but now on the penultimate lap for the leader of Bolt TBD. As now Chazza is looking to get past his teammate. It looks like it's going to be a very comfortable move for Chazza as he goes down the inside of his teammate into the final chicane. But now, all over the back is Ed of Ragno, and Chazza is weaving down the straight as they've still got DRS enabled. That's quite cheeky by Chazza, but Ragno's trying to hold around the outside of the Mercedes, but he goes off the track and comes back on, just taps the rear end of the Mercedes, but doesn't spin her around, thankfully. As Ragnar is down into P5 now, after just being in P3, as Ed has got past him, but Chazza weaving down the straight. I'm sure that will be looked at, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Oh, it was Ed, I think, ran a little bit wide there, but the drivers are really struggling now. It's becoming wetter and wetter, and let's see how our leader is dealing with these conditions now, as he is about to finish the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix! Oh my goodness, he's nearly spun out the Grand Prix there. That could have been all it here. The drivers are just going to have to tippy-toe, and with a 7.5 second lead over Addy, I'm sure Bolt is now just going to take it easy, because that was a very scary moment for the race leader, as Ayrton Spencer has moved up past Hereford for P6. Let's just go back to Bolt here to see how he copes with these conditions on the final lap. You can see how tedious these conditions are for Bolt. As now you can hear he's barely using any throttle coming out of the corners, just about half throttle as he comes out the exit of that corner. But now he has basically, well, not many corners left to go. Ducky Affman is clearly struggling with the conditions a little bit more than Bolt, but let's see, is he going to be able to make it through the final chicane, as DRS has now been disabled, which means that you should come in and pit for these tyres. As Chillikill spend the pit lane. I don't know why he's coming into the pits on the final lap, but here we go. Bolt now coming through the final chicane, just about makes it through. And Bolt is going to win again here in Canada, as it's race victory once more for the Renault driver, as Addy makes it through the final chicane unscathed, and what has been a very good performance by the Haas driver. Finishes P2. And now let's look further back here, as Chazza, let's see if he can make it through the final chicane unscathed. Let's see, as he's just cut the chicane to deal with it, that's for sure. And Ed has also made it through the chicane safely, and after 3 pit stops, I'm sure Chazza will be delighted to finish in P3. But it really should have been that man finishing in P3, if I'm perfectly honest. If he didn't disconnect, I think he would have finished in P3. As now we've got Murcielago, Val, and eventually Jay Hobson UK and Dougie Afferman to come across the finish line. Jay Hobson UK going about the speed of a tugboat through the final chicane there. But as long as he finishes the race in P10, he won't care, as he finishes in P10. as I've just got a very angry message from Chazza seconds after he crossed the finish line here, as Jake is saying hashtag diamond in the rough. Lager cut the last corner to overtake Val. Oh, I missed that, if I'm going to be honest with you. As Dougie Afterman comes across the line. That is the end of what was a very brilliant Canadian Grand Prix. A pity that my throat, well, stopped me from speaking pretty much. That was very annoying. But it's Bolt winning again. He extends his championship lead once more with another very good victory over Addy, who did have a very good race. Good performance. Addy. And then third is Chazza, who is, well, fuming. Let's just put it that way. As the fast TBD saying so many penalties. Jesus, yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I didn't know it was that bad. Everyone has penalties on the grid as Bolt finishes in first, Addy second, Chazza third, fourth is Ed, fifth Hereford, sixth Val, seventh Ayrton Spenner, eighth Murcielago, ninth Ragno, 10th J Hobson UK, 11th Doug Gaffman, 12th Chillicow, 13th King No Skill, 14th Mathrick Schecterfeld, 15th Skull TBD, 16th and Testmeister in 17th. Yes, 32-second penalty for Dougie Afferman. Jesus. But so you race? Yeah, I cut all the corners. Fury, you should have seen in the F2 league when the corner cutting was on standard. Let's just say that the track limits were being redesigned. It was a completely new track that they were driving on. But that is it. That is it for what has been an absolutely bonkers Canadian Grand Prix. There was drama at the first corner. There was more drama throughout the race. And drama just absolutely everywhere. Absolutely incredible stuff. As Furious saying, there are no limits. Yep. That was certainly the case in Silverstone and Austria. But well, that's it. That is it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope you all have a very good rest of your Sunday night. Sunday, of course, for you Americans who if you may be watching, and of course, I'm going to enjoy my Monday morning where I'm going to go and sleep in a couple of hours because I'm going to go to sleep because I live on EU time. So yeah, boy oh boy, that's been it. So I hope you all have a good day, and we'll see you later. Jeez.